Deliver at all costs is exactly what video games are all about. Having fun, and fun is exactly what I had the entire time while I was playing this game. You play as Winston Green, a down on his luck fugitive with a mysterious past and a fiery temper who finds himself a job as a courier at We Deliver. Your job? Deliver everything from malfunctioning balloon contraptions that leave every bump in the road feeling like a brush with death as you uncontrollably fly into the air, to nuclear bombs that can detonate and destroy the entire city at the slightest impact. Deliver at all costs knows exactly what it is. An absolutely chaotic sandbox game with an almost fully destructible environment. The game embraces its chaotic nature, it doesn't try to be anything else. It encourages you to embrace the madness, and as the name implies, deliver at all costs. Every delivery you make will leave the city in ruins and looking like a war zone. I went into this game thinking it would be the type of game that I'd play in short 30-minute bursts to burn some time. You know, boot up the game, do a delivery or two, have a bit of fun causing some carnage and then call it a day. But each time I turned on the game, I ended up playing for around 3 or 4 hours at a time because the main story missions were just so much fun. Yes, most missions are you making a delivery of some kind, but there's a fun twist on each of them. In one mission, the military has mistaken what you're transporting as a target for their training, and you have to travel across the map to make your delivery while avoiding their missiles. Another mission has you delivering a bomb shelter, but a co-worker you hate got trapped inside, so instead of loading it onto the back of your van, you attach a grapple to it and pull it along the streets like a wrecking ball, leaving a trail of death and destruction behind you. There's always some kind of humorous twist to the mission that keeps them feeling fresh and fun. After one of the story missions, you need to drive your friend and co-worker home, and let me tell you, this is the last time that Norman asks me to drive him home in his own car. I also kept forgetting that the game is set in the US and that you guys drive on the wrong side of the road, so I kept driving on the left side into oncoming traffic, and I'm pretty sure Winston is now wanted for many more crimes. The main story unravels the mystery behind Winston's past and why he's a wanted fugitive, but it also leans into the chaotic and humorous nature of its gameplay, and you'll get plenty of laughs. Then you've got the side missions. Side quests are a mixed bag. There's not that many of them and they're not great. Not that they're bad, they're just quite dull and uninteresting compared to the main missions. The very first side quest I picked up at the beginning of the game was to find the mayor's doppelganger, and that was by far the most annoying of the bunch. I drove around and around and around looking for him with no success. It wasn't until I was over halfway through the main story that I just happened to stumble across him by complete luck and was able to finish that side quest. While the side quests aren't exciting or interesting, they are worth doing as they reward you with blueprints that you can use to craft new upgrades for your van to further embrace the carnage. You can craft things like a foghorn, which is great for shattering the windows on all of the cars around you. You can build spikes for your wheels to blow everyone's tires, and you can even build a catapult on the back of your van to fling objects around. If the main story missions and side missions aren't enough for you, each of the game's 17 maps are filled with collectibles for you to find and keep you occupied. There are money crates, toolboxes that give you crafting materials, landmarks for sightseeing, as well as secret vehicles to find. The amount of them to find can be overwhelming, and finding them by yourself will be incredibly difficult and time consuming. Luckily, there are shops scattered throughout the maps which sell a mystery key item that reveals the location of all collectibles on the map. This makes collecting everything significantly easier, though oddly there's no achievement for finding everything, and I'm not sure what the incentive for collecting them actually is beyond having that 100% written on your save file. The sightseeing locations do absolutely nothing except giving you a look at certain landmarks from a new camera angle. There's absolutely no reason to find the secret vehicles like the ice cream van, the hot dog van, the police car, or anything else, as the novelty of driving them wears off extremely quickly. You can't use them in story missions, and none of these vehicles can make use of the upgrades you craft. Anytime you might feel like using them, you have to travel all the way to where you initially discovered them because there's no garage to store the vehicles you found. And there are far more money crates and toolboxes than you'll ever need. After crafting all of the upgrades and purchasing everything in the shops, I still had heaps of materials and thousands of dollars left over. One side quest does require you to find 200 money crates, which sounds like a lot, but there's over 750 crates scattered throughout the world to find. There's no reason or purpose to collect anything beyond the bare minimum of what you need, except to say I did it. There are 3 acts to the game, with each act taking place in a new area. Act 1 takes place on the island of St. Monique, Act 2 takes place in the town of Shellington, and Act 3 takes place in the city of New Reed. All of the maps are connected, so if you miss anything from a previous act like a collectible or a side quest, don't worry about it. You can freely travel back to any previous area and complete it at any time, so you never have to worry about missing out on anything. The game prioritizes your fun over everything else. You're never punished for failing or for doing something recklessly stupid. One side quest had me racing a guy who wanted to parachute from the top of a mountain to the bottom. I simply drove off the mountain and crashed at the bottom, blowing myself up, which respawned me right by the finish line. The game is so forgiving of your failures that it almost encourages you to be creatively stupid and to entertain yourself. It doesn't matter if you get blown up, crushed or drowned, you'll simply respawn at the nearest respawn point or at the nearest checkpoint, which are often only seconds away from where you died. And if your van ever gets destroyed or damaged too badly, you can use one of the hundreds of phone booths scattered around the city to spawn a new van instantly. Though if you drive too recklessly and cause too much destruction around the city, the police will start chasing you. But you never really have to worry about being captured by them, as just like with dying, there's absolutely no penalty. All that happens is you get sent to the nearest spawn point. The game does offer some replayability, as when you complete the game you can freely replay all previously played missions with your current vehicle upgrades. So you achievement and trophy hunters don't need to worry about missing out on any mission related achievements. Though I have to say, as much fun as I had while playing Deliver at All Costs, I can't help but feel that this was a stripped and scaled down version of their original idea for a much larger game. Many of the game's 17 areas are severely underutilized and there's little to nothing for you to actually do in them. Some missions might have you briefly passing through for an objective, but aside from that, there's no reason to return except for the collectibles. A decent portion of the story also happens off-screen and is told through your in-game journal, which serves as Winston's diary. Unless you regularly check the journal after completing each mission, you're probably going to miss out on much of the game's backstory. And the final act of the game ends on a cliffhanger. There is a post-credits scene, but that unfortunately does nothing to wrap things up. The game is also quite short. It took me around 12 hours to 100%, and that's completing all story missions, all side quests, finding all collectibles and crafting all of the upgrades. I did squeeze in another 5 hours or so just screwing around and causing mayhem and destruction, so how much time you'll get out of the game depends on your playstyle. If you're the type that just plays through the main story and then moves on to the next game, you can expect roughly 8 hours of gameplay here. If you're the type that likes to do all of the side content and find collectibles, you can probably expect to get around 12 to 15 hours out of the game. Value is subjective, so whether or not that's worth $29.99 is up to you. Deliver at All Costs is a little on the short side, and it does feel scaled down from their original idea, but that's all made up for by how fun the game is from start to finish. For Far Out Games' first ever game, I think they've done a wonderful job and they perfectly encapsulated what gaming is all about, and that is fun. If you're looking for some of that fast-paced early 2000s madness, this is the game for you. If you've played the game, let me know what your thoughts are below, and if you haven't played the game, I promise you this game is a lot of fun. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.